Good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Already Tuesday, believe it or not, it's 78 this morning as you're waking up. I know that's still hot, isn't it? But supposedly a little cooler today. Our high to reach only 92, and we should see the heat index only reach 97. That does feel a little bit cooler than yesterday. It was, is the word horrendous? Is that the word I'm looking for? Barely catch your breath as you walked outside the last few days. And again, it's not over. This is it's going to be more of this coming. We're going to get a small break for a day or so, and then it will return. So just beware of what's going on. I do hope your morning is going well for you as we get this all started together today. Odie will be in a moment, and we'll go over big headlines that have happened over the last 24 hours. And in just a moment, we'll look at what's happened on the national level. But first, let's head out to Collinsville, the First Baptist Church. We'll be right back.
There's hardly a worse feeling that we have than when we don't get something we think we've earned. You ask for that raise at work only to be turned down. You think you're worthy of a promotion to a higher position only to find out it was given to another person. Earning things is hard, and it doesn't always work out the way we think it should. Salvation is just the opposite. Before we're saved, if we think about salvation at all, we likely think about it as something that can be earned or deserved if we're good enough. Actually, salvation is about being freed from that kind of thinking. Romans chapter 7 verse 6 says, "But now, by dying to what once bound us, we have been released from the law so that we serve in the new way of the Spirit and not in the old way of the written code." Being saved doesn't release us from being obedient to God and what He says in His Word, but we are released from the bondage of depending on our ability to keep the law in an effort to earn what God only gives through faith in Jesus Christ. We are dead to that old life and all the bondage and burden that comes with us. Thank God for the freedom that comes through knowing Christ. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Big thank you to Brother Paul. Again, they'll be open tomorrow night, opening up the church doors there, and again on Sunday. If you don't have a church, they'd love to see you, but I promise you, within probably 10 minutes of where you live, well, there's a church that would love to have you. Check them all out this week. Good morning, as we see that Philadelphia is waking up this morning. Charlotte Gray, how are you doing? Mr. Richard Nelson, Chief, how are you today? Miss LaWanda joins us. Harvey is up. Also, Miss Dot, so many of you. Steve and Wanda, how are y'all doing? Battlefield, Mississippi. It's a great place to be, isn't it? It's a place we call America. Sometimes it needs fixing, but it is still the greatest place on this earth, without a shadow of a doubt. As we look at headlines that are shaping America this morning, the Grand Canyon is where we go this morning. You can only imagine you've been to places where tourists were taking pictures and you moved so that someone else can take a picture. A 13-year-old boy done just that. He slipped and fell 100 feet. Believe it or not, he walked away. He's going to be fine in the end. 100-foot fall. Whew, how scary that could be. But that's good. Dude, what's that now? Yeah, my fear, slipping, is...
There's no railing over that mountain.
Yeah, I haven't been there, and I don't plan on going either. There's no railing there.
I'll take a picture.
Which, take a picture, send it to do that. The studio audience knows my problems I have with heights. I do not like them. If you want to see me plastered to a wall, do that to me. It's just a big fear. Just can't get over it. Let's see here. And as we look at our next story, we'll go to North Carolina. There's not a parent alive that can't go, I understand, but also at the same time go, you can't do that. A father receives word that his son was struck and killed by a driver. He arrives on the scene, and he took matters into his own hands and killed the driver. Now, of course, we understand a parent being upset over losing someone, but you can't do that. After doing so, he got into the person's car and drove off. He would be found an hour later. Second-degree murder is what he's going to be charged with. He can't bring back his son, and he took someone else's life. How horrible it is. I'm sure That's one of those, if there is a such thing as insanity of snapping, I guess that would be that situation. It's awful, but now 2 people have lost their lives. North Carolina is where that happened as we look at things. Let's see here. A soldier has been charged with murdering his wife in Alaska. Doesn't get much worse than that, a soldier doing something like that. He's in cuffs now. And I don't know if you've seen the headlines this morning of NFL running back Alex Collins. He's passed away from an accident. Struck on his motorcycle and killed at 28 years old. We pass along condolences to his family this morning. It's been a lot of mishaps. Maybe that is the word. He played for the Baltimore Ravens. We hate to see that. And if you haven't heard by now, yet again, this may be, I could be wrong, but maybe this is the 4th charge. Trump has been officially charged in Georgia. It's no surprise. We all expected it. It will probably more charges before it's all said and done. Again, it's no shock. I had someone ask me yesterday, would I believe if he was charged? Of course I would, I said, because even the people within the Republican Party dislike him. The most hated man in America. He was going to be charged no matter what. People within his organization or within the same party want him gone just as much. They can't do what they were doing with him around. Do y'all follow me here? If anything is good, you got to get rid of it. This is what this is all about. We don't need him. We don't need him to run, do we? That's what they kept chanting. And I'm afraid what they have done is only made him stronger. Now, will he be elected president? We don't know that. We have no idea. But more charges have happened, as we all expected they would. Everybody's going to be pointing fingers, and, well, behind the scenes, he's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. As we all see that, well, what's right for everybody doesn't apply to everyone else. This stuff's been going on for years and years and years. But that's the headlines. Is Hillary made an attempt last night to go, she feels so sorry for him during a Trump that he was arrested, just 10 indictments. I'm sure she did. It come from the heart, too. This is good. We saw this happen in Starkville, Mississippi, to where extortionist, I believe is the word I'm looking for. And I scramble in my head trying to come up with the exact word for this. And they prey upon especially teenagers, to where they'll talk a teenager in online to giving up pictures of themselves and then later come back and threatening them if they don't provide money. They will show these pictures that they've given to them. 2 Nigerian hackers have been busted, and it looks like they're going to be sent to the United States to face their crimes. It's about time. I hope the long arm of the law holds no mercy for these 2. Someone lost their life in this case also. So let's hope something good comes out of this and an example is set. I know a lot of people disagree with me on things to where you can't have capital punishment. I know there's people out there who believe that. You have to draw a line, or you end up like San Francisco, or you end up like other portions of California, New York, to where criminals on the streets and citizens no longer have any rights. They live in fear. You've got to draw a line and set an example. America needs that. More on the way as we'll check your forecast next as we start this day. Don't forget, this season is going to be starting up very shortly from now. November, we'll have more tornadic seasons. Don't forget to get yours. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
What a day when we thought 92 was a cool day, but believe it or not, we do think that. Heat index only 97 today. As we look at record highs and record lows today, it was 1954 that we set a record of 103 degrees. We've been close to that several times this week. As we look at 04, it was 54. Now that almost feels like a a cool day in Tennessee up at Pigeon Forge, doesn't it? As we glance at what is coming today, we see that, well, today 93 at most, maybe 92. Philadelphia forecasted at 90. As we get up near Columbus, what is that I see? The 80s? 86 Columbus Air Force Base. As we go west to Greenwood, Mississippi, and go south to Natchez, it does get warmer at 94, as well as at Brookhaven in those areas. As we go across that Bama line, 91 in Demopolis. 87 Birmingham is forecasted today. Even Gaston cool at 86. Hamilton, Alabama, 83. What is wrong with that? It looks more like home as we go to Troy, Alabama at 96 and 97 in Montgomery, Alabama. Now, this is what we've got today. We want to remind you not to burn because everything is dry. We hadn't had any rain in such a long, long time. If you'll look at this line, this is going to cut across 2 Mile Bottom there. The elevated threat due south through Clark County, Lauderdale, Newton, and all of these areas, even everything south of Philadelphia included in the elevated threat. Above that will be limited. Watch these local burn bans that we do know that we have it in Jasper County already. Don't thump cigarettes out the window. Watch your chains on trailers. They will spark. And be careful driving across a pasture in a vehicle, a truck. All of that hay gets hung up underneath it. Next thing you know, you turn it off and woof, you've got a problem. Use extra caution today. Heat stress is going to be south of us in the Hattiesburg area for the most part. Jones County, Laurel, and south to the coast. Not as warm here in the Meridian area. As we glance across this over to Alabama, it's going to be more Montgomery, Troy, Auburn, Alabama area as far as heat stress today. Don't worry, it'll return. It'll come back to the immediate area before long. As we glance at this, look over Mississippi now. Wow, this cuts across Arkansas and other areas as well. And more on the way back to our west in Texas. I doubt we'll ever see this coming in from California and Nevada. It'll get hot before then, is what we're expecting. As we see our forecast for today and tomorrow, a dip in temperatures for a couple of days, 92 and 98. We will see 66 tonight, tomorrow night 65. But it starts steadily climbing back up by Thursday. And don't worry, the weekend's going to be nice and hot where you don't want to be outside. Friday, 98, Saturday, 100, 98 on Sunday, and back to work on Monday at 97. Wow, oh wow, oh wow. That's hot. As we look for the forecast all the way through the 29th, 100, 101, 101, 99. Yeah, that's hot. Dog days of August are here, and they'll be with us for a while. Now, around the 29th, as we get ready to move into September, we'll start seeing temperatures drop to the low to mid-90s. That's what we've got. I wouldn't hold my breath on that either. As we look at this across here, what's happening in the Gulf? Absolutely nothing. But forecasters are still telling us toward the end of the month and into September, we will see a heightened risk of hurricanes. So we're going to watch this. They still say that we've got a lot on the way before this season is over. As we glance to our fishing forecast, Chet comes out and tells us the best time to fish is going to be around 12 o'clock today to 2 o'clock, right at lunchtime. Have a chance to enjoy yourself. Wind's going to be northwest 5 to 10 is what we're expecting there for the forecast today. As we glance at the clock, and it's very small, it looks like 6:45. We'll be starting the morning show in 10 minutes from now. Getting everything ready. We'll tell you about the armed robbery that happened overnight, car chases, automobile accidents, and also a special prayer service is going to happen tonight. We're going to tell you all about that coming up at 7 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. The Scotty Ray Report coming up with Scotty Ray and Odie. It all happens here every single day. Can't thank y'all enough for being here. Lisa Stokes, how are you this morning? Mary Lynn, good to see you. And they are extortionists, as you put it there. Pat and Jim Coker, good morning to y'all. Be a part of it. Join us, won't you? It kicks off in just a few moments from now. We'll see you soon as we'll kick into the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: